Hi there, Vibe Gardeners. In this episode of Vibe Gardening Inform Edition, we're going to talk about this little strip right here on my extension lawn and what I'm planning to do with it. Because finally, the utility company is done working the gas line here. So, with that said, let's go. So, to ground everyone a little bit on this strip along here, it's called the extension lawn. And I've been asked by a family member, is it legal for me to use this land? So, according to the City of Ann Arbor's ordinance, this strip called the extension lawn does belong to me, the homeowner, but it is a fair use for the city to have the right of way to use it for whatever's needed for things that the city needs, and also for utility. Like I said, our utility company just upgraded the gas line here in this strip of land, and that's how they have all this grass and cone thing set up here. But right now, as you can see, I've claimed it to be my garden. This is something that majority of a lot, well, not majority, but a lot of the houses in my neighborhood, they've taken this and they made it into their own garden. The rule is it has to be under 2 foot for near bus stops or 3 foot in general for visibility for drivers to come by. So with that, I mean, I'm taking seeds that I've collected from my walks around the neighborhood and I'm going to plant it there and basically create a chaos garden, which is inspired by neighbor Sarah, who has given me the New Mexico hatch peppers seeds. So thank you, Sarah. I'm going to copy you on this one. So here I am in my front deck, and I got myself a steel mixing bowl for cooking here. I'm going to use this to start dropping my seeds that I've collected in here, and then I'm going to throw myself a handful or two of wood mulch I got for free from the city, and then I'm going to use that as kind of a mixing medium for the seeds to be able to spread out there. And then I'm going to put another layer of wood chip on top. And the reason for that is that the wood chip is going to serve as kind of a sort of camouflage for these seeds so the birds don't come and basically take it away, or the squirrels or whatever animal that might think it's a good idea. So that's going to give me a good landing spot to put them. Also, having a little bit of mulch on top would give it a bit of a moisture barrier to give it. It's kind of like simulating really having dirt on top, but having this wood chip gives it sort of a more, I guess, more natural way of covering it and giving it that nice look. To be honest, here I have a lot of seeds here that I've collected. That frankly, here's my marigolds I got from my backyard, and I got some of my friend Shiba's sunflower seeds from her community garden in County Farm Park. Got some cajuna in here from the garden that mother-in-law planted. Seeds like this, I don't even remember what this is. I collected it because I thought it looked cool at one point. I thought it looked cool at one point. It's worth planting, right? That's the beauty of Chaos Garden. You don't quite know what you're getting, but we know these are mostly, especially what's in this box here, are mostly from local lawn extensions that people have thrown in there, has grown well, and they adapted to the constant road salt that comes here when the city does basically snow work around here. So with that said, I'm going to start putting things in here. So like this right here, I have no idea what it is. I'm going to just basically crumple it up. I don't know, throw it in there, hope it works, right? But honestly, if it doesn't come up, that's the nature of this chaos garden, right? There's really nothing to be lost if things don't come up because you're trying to do things not like nature. Whatever works end up working. So got a lot of flower here that frankly I don't even 100% know. Like this right here, it says coneflower echinacea. These are things I've identified using Google Lens. Whether it's correct or not, I don't know. Like for example, I have in here, I have this dune cucumber flower, or whatever that I got here. Like I literally wrote down mystery white sunflower or coneflower. I have no idea what this is, and honestly, that's a beauty. I have no idea what I'm planting because I figured if it's on a long extension, if I don't end up planting stuff there, my neighbor's flower is going to end up landing on there. I might as well collect the ones I like and hope they propagate, right? It's going to be beautiful. So, all right, I'm just kind of ripping open these bags and just throwing it in there and hoping for the best, right? That doesn't look like echinacea, honestly. It's too powdery. And I'm going to just start throwing everything in here. That doesn't look like echinacea either. Even though I said it's echinacea. It's gonna be a fun time to see what actually comes up. And these things are stuff I collected last year. It's not this year, so viability will have to have reduced. And here's Cosmos. I love how they look when they bloom. Again, I have no idea how viable these are, but I collected them, and most likely for me to transport it from their yard to mine, I would have had either my sweat of my hand in there, which would definitely reduce viability, or it's in my pocket. Who knows what's happening in there, right? Hopefully, I didn't crush too many of them. But I'm simulating nature, and that's what makes this fun. Here we go, Indian blanket. Another one that I think are gorgeous in bloom. So here we have it. We got all the seeds in here, dumped in here. I'm just gonna mix up a little bit. And it's gonna be very marigold heavy because obviously you've seen my videos from this year. I have a lot of marigolds in the yard. So it's very marigold heavy, and it's got all these other flowers I got from around the neighborhood. And then I got myself some of there's some wood chip I got from the city. I'm gonna just dump it in here. Obviously, I'm gonna have to wash this bowl before I use it for cooking. But here we go. Mix it up, and it will be basically my seed mix. And I'm gonna use this as a base to what I'm putting in the garden. And I'm gonna put another layer of wood chip on there to basically cover it and give it some viability for next year. It'll be great. All right, so now we're back at the garden, and we have our seeds here in this bowl of wood chip and seeds. So we can just make sure it has not settled, and we can just start dumping it all over this thing, which doesn't seem like that much. But the thing is, we're going to take our rake and just rake it around a little bit, kind of spread the seeds more evenly around. And the reality is I might end up even spreading more seeds later this season. Give it a little bit of life. So here we are, and as you can see, the perimeter of this garden is really lined up with a 18-inch fence here. It's more for decorative, and it will generally keep bunnies from thinking about jumping in and creating havoc. Because you know how much they love marigold and how to eat them, right? So having that fence will kind of give them a little bit of deterrence. I know there's bigger holes in here they can squeeze through. And what I can do is I can take my galvanized steel wire and basically link the diagonal there. And that's going to keep them from being able to squeeze in. Yes, they can jump over it, but especially in the early spring, when dandelion is really abundant, they actually prefer that a lot more. So that's going to keep it safe for now. So now that we have basically set up the seeds now, we can add the next layer of wood chip to cover things quite a bit, to give it that covering that we essentially give it that natural barrier for the winter, to give them a better chance to simulate nature and come back in the spring. So right here, I got myself a metal trash can of more of these wood chip I've gotten. I'm going to start spreading around and rake it level. All right, so there you have it. This is a setup for the chaos garden. And normally speaking, what I would do is I would actually hose it down before we let it settle for the winter. But the thing is, tomorrow we'll have our first snow in the morning. And that's going to give it a nice covering of moisture. And also that freeze, that's going to give it a hard freeze. It's going to prevent things from germinating. But at the same time, stimulate nature. So I think it's going to give it a very nice setup. And we should be set to go. All right, Vibe Gardener. So to kind of recap what happened here, this chaos garden was actually inspired to me by my neighbor, Sarah, who gave me the New Mexico hatch peppers. She basically just set up a piece of property on her extension lawn threw flower seeds on there and let it do whatever it wants to do to become the garden it becomes. This is actually highly encouraged by the city of Ann Arbor and wants us to essentially decorate this piece of land that belongs to us, though it is uh, able to be used by the city forever what they want to do, right? But still, it needs to be beautified. And we're doing this with the Chaos Garden. And so hopefully that's going to inspire you guys to go and do your own Chaos Garden, as I've done here by my neighbor Sarah. So let's see what happens next spring. But hopefully you will go and make your own Chaos Garden in your extension lawn. So until next time, keep gardening and keep vibing. Let's go.